Yeah, hi. It's been a few weeks since I've had a chance to do any work on the ambo, and the weather's warmed up quite a bit now, so that's great. All keen now to get stuck in. Uh, so moving along, I'm doing some more work on the airbag, uh, the back, and the disc brakes are nearly ready. Murray's just designing and fabricating the adapter, which I'm helping him with. So hopefully everything goes together nicely. Anyway, this is where I'm at. Getting under here. This is the airbag plate that I'm making for the bottom. I'll just try and get under here and make it a bit more clearer. So yeah, this is where the bag's going to be. It's pretty sturdy. These are the shocks that I got from Toyota Wrecker. I think they're off a Dyna, a little Dyna truck. So they're quite good. I'm just going to maybe change this eyelet at the bottom, because it's got a sort of a bigger diameter eyelet, and I don't really want to muck around too much with this stuff. But yeah, I may have to, I don't know, wait and see. Yeah, so this is, like I say, similar to design to the Firestone product. They got like a U-bolt that comes around the back of the leaf spring U-bolts, and I kind of just fabricated that to lock in there. There's a little keyway. You can't see it, but yeah, it locks in between the two, the rear, this inside U-bolt, so it can't move forward or backwards at all. It's clamped this way, nice and tight, and of course the rear U-bolt clamps that end down nicely. I can't see it moving at all, so I've got to trim this, trim these. And the other thing I might do is move the top rail slightly forward. Yeah, maybe just move this bit forward, because it's kind of behind a bit. Yeah, so as I was saying, moving this forward to maybe about where this the end bit here is, so that it's more in line with the bottom plate. And yeah, I'm looking at, I might need to think about channeling out this top piece for the diff. I'll just have to see. This setup had a problem where this inside set of U-bolt heads would come up into the chassis. So there's a couple of dents there where these bolt heads were banging up against there. So there's certainly enough travel for it to come into contact with that top rail. But that's the reason why I'm putting in these airbags, is to cut that down. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see, once I get it down on the ground, get some weight inside it, see where it sits. Yeah, so anyway, onwards and upwards. Okay, so day's closing in on us. I managed to get one in. It's looking good. I will have to move that top plate forward slightly. That's not a big deal. Yeah, everything works good. The U-bolt I fabricated to wrap around the leaf spring U-bolts has worked a treat. I'm going to try and get under here and show you how it works, hopefully. Yeah, I've used quite a thick plate as a base plate. Probably could have got away with something a bit lighter, but better safe than sorry. I don't want anything bending. Let's get in front of this thing so it doesn't focus on the wrong thing. I'm worried about those threads sticking through. I haven't really finished with them. I'm just worried about the bag coming into contact with them. I probably should have come a little bit further along this way. Oh, don't need my dodgy finger in there. Yeah, brought the plate a bit further along and maybe hit the U-bolt a bit further back, but I didn't really think about it. New Zealand compliance certification guys usually will say that they like to have 3 threads showing through the bolts. So I've got maybe 5mm. I could probably take off those heads. There's a washer as well I got to think about. Yeah, maybe 3 to 5mm. I could take them down. I don't know if it's going to move that much anyway. I don't know. I'm not planning on letting all the air out of them. It would have to move quite a way for it to come into contact. Oh, it does actually. But you know, that's a lot of movement. But it can happen, I suppose. It's one of the reasons why I'm putting this damn airbag system in, is to try and hold it a bit more steady in the back end. I mean, I've got this Bedford ambulance, probably weighs about 2 ton empty. So yeah, it's a weight issue for me. I've been battling with over the years. One of the reasons why I went to dual wheel was because I kept blowing out tires on the rear of this thing. You know, half worn down. For about 10 years I didn't pay for a set of tires. Goodyear kept giving me new ones because they shouldn't have blown. But in reality, you know, all these ambulances came out with single wheels on the back, standard 280 running gear, and standard Bedford diff too. I think they're 4.2 ratio or something ridiculous. With a 6-cylinder Holden motor, they would rev their guts out. So yeah, no, I decided to go and throw this CF350 dual wheel setup in it, and it's been bloody great ever since. It's just the suspension hasn't really coped very well. So, in with the Dyna shocks and airbags. Oh, and the Buffy leaf springs. Yeah, I'm pretty happy how this is shaping up. I'm just a bit worried about the clearances with the nut heads, but I'll find out, I guess. Yeah, I'll better get back into it, I suppose. There's a little bit of light left. Okay, a couple of days ago I posted part 2 of my airbag project video update on my channel, and upon reviewing it I realized I hadn't really explained the second part of the video very well, so I've decided to come back in and refilm. And this part of it, I was oh god, I was talking about this compensator valve. It's part of the brake system on CF Bedfords, and basically they're just designed to, you know, the CF 280s and short wheelbase vans are quite light in the back when there's nothing in them, you know, and they lock up the rear brakes. And this whole system with the spring loaded mechanism was designed to adjust the brakes accordingly depending on the weight of the vehicle. And yeah, they don't work very well. I mean, most of them are seized. Mine's seized, and I probably wouldn't expect it to have worked very well anyway on this vehicle because it's such a heavy vehicle in the first place, so it's not a problem. So yeah, I'm taking that out. But it sort of made me think about the calipers and stuff, and I thought I'd touch bases on what we're doing here. Incidentally, there's a bunch of Aussie guys doing up a Bedford over there called Skid Factory, and it's been quite good watching, actually. You know, they're doing some awesome stuff, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that project goes. And their mate Millsy, who owns the vehicle, kind of dropped a rear end in for them to fit and had a disc brake conversion done on it for them, and yeah, they had a few problems to overcome, and they're pretty clever guys, so they'll get it sorted out, no doubt. But it just sort of made me realize I wanted to sort of explain something to everybody who's interested in Murray's kits about it. On Millsy's setup, it's, you know, he's got the caliper up here, and it's you know, pretty close to the leaf spring setup, so they've had to look at how they're going to set up the handbrake cables. There's possibly some linkages they're going to have to fabricate. They had to notch out a big chunk of this. Yeah, so they're overcoming it. And I also made an observation that, you know, Millsy's got these 4-pot, it looks like 4-pot calipers, and really nice vented rotors on the back, you know, and that's okay. I mean, it's going to be a really awesome brake, and probably cost them a bombshell, but you know, given it's a short wheelbase standard van, you know, they may be having a few issues with it locking up when they first get it going, but no doubt they'll be able to figure that out, compensate it somehow. So those are the issues they were dealing with, and I wanted to explain that Murray's kits, it tackles a bunch of problems like this. Basically, first of all, Murray's kit for the dual wheels and all of the CF Bedfords, they're plug and play. You don't have to alter anything, as long as everything's fairly standard and nothing's been, you know, too modified. I mean, even this one has had the leaf spring mount moved outward, because I put in the LPG tank, so I've moved the leaf spring mounts, you know, normally hang directly underneath the chassis, so we've moved them out, I think, no, out the other side of the chassis, that's right. And yeah, we've moved them to this side of the chassis, so yeah, we haven't got much space here. But Murray's taken all of this stuff into account. He's put his caliper down here, so that will suit, you know, most of these CF come out with parabolic springs, and I'm sure that that short wheelbase Bedford that those guys are working on in Aussie probably originally came out with a parabolic spring, either upper or below. I can't remember which one. They come out with above and below. And if it had been a parabolic spring, those boys wouldn't have had any problems. It probably would have missed it, because they're only thin. But anyway, Millsy's got multi-leafs like mine, so they've got these problems. Yeah, as I was saying, Murray's is down here. He's had to think about the compensation thing, and so his kits, he's got the 4-pot calipers and vented rotors on the front for 14-inch rims upwards, standard rims, Bedford rims, and on the rear for the dual wheel systems and the single wheel short wheelbase CF Bedfords, he's got a single pot caliper. It's a smaller caliper. It's a thinner rotor. So, you know, you want about 60 to 70%, I think it is, braking in the front anyway. So it's kind of, it helps balance out that issue. And also the handbrake cables are running under here, normally on a standard Bedford, and they come in the back of the backing plate here for the drum brakes. Yeah, so the steering linkage is a piece of cake. Like I say, when you get your kit from Murray, you know, you're going to get the handbrake cables. Everything's going to go where it normally goes, and bolts up where the old gear used to bolt up. There's no mucking around. And I'm sure those boys over in Aussie probably would have liked to have known about Murray's kits, but anywho, that's all right. And just roughly on cost, I mean, nowadays you will spend, if you're rebuilding the whole rear end and just fixing up the old gear, the old drum brakes, having the cylinders reconditioned, etc., you know, you can spend well over $1,500, you know, just fixing up old junk. you know, give it a couple of years and you're back to square one again with the things. You know, with my system, I used to have a lot of problems. I was constantly being given the wrong seal for this. Obviously you can't get the old seal, so they've got something that's close or nearby and nearabouts the right size. And I was constantly getting oil leaks, and it would leak into my drums. You know, I get up in the morning and there's oil running down the back of the wheel and onto the driveway, and you know, pull everything off, clean everything up, and then it'll do it again, you know. Or one of the wheel cylinders would leak fluid out, and it'd be in the drums, and I mean, you guys know that this is a problem. You've all probably experienced it, and having the system that he's put together, if you have any leaks with the diff oil, it's not going to actually come into the brake area, pad area. It shouldn't, and you know, you can fix it accordingly without having to pull apart the brakes and clean them up and all that sort of thing. And it's going to be around this, yeah, it's not going to be much more just to get the kit, you know. So I think I've kind of covered all the bits that I missed the other day, and thanks for taking the time to have a look at this, and I suppose I better get stuck in and do a bit more before the sun goes down completely, and I'll catch you at the next update.